Tom, so many people have rumors about what it is you eat, but at the end of the day, you're a regular guy, you eat regular food. I want to eat like you for a day.
Oh, all right.
And I want you to give me a breakfast, lunch, and dinner for just this ideal day of food. What would that look like? Okay.
Smoothie for breakfast.
Okay.
Some protein in it.
Okay.
Let's say tuna wrap.
Okay.
Some salad for lunch. And then fish, vegetables for dinner.
What about dessert?
Avocado ice cream.
Perfect. I'm gonna go try it out.
I'm gonna stick to Tom Brady's exact diet for the entire day. He's 45 years old, has won the Super Bowl 7 times, and is still playing football. Whatever he's eating, it's working. I started by spending some time searching the internet to find out what goes in the yes category for Tom when it comes to food, and what is a no. It ended up making more sense to just make a no list. In the no column, gluten, dairy, coffee, corn, soy, MSG. Sorry, Uncle Roger. I know you and Tom Brady would not get along.
Hiya!
Alcohol, GMOs, white sugar, trans fats, white flour, peppers, mushrooms, eggplants, tomatoes, overly processed foods, most oils, and most fruits. Oh boy. With all that said, let's eat. The first meal of every day, breakfast. Specifically,
Smoothie for breakfast.
Okay.
Some protein in it.
lucky for us, I found this video on Tom's TikTok that gives away his exact breakfast routine.
All right, here's how I start my day in the off season. Smoothie time, blueberry, TB12 protein, pumpkin seeds, 1 banana. I don't eat the ends, don't tell me. Electrolytes, obviously, chia seed, almond butter, and milk.
So this one doesn't look all too challenging compared to some of the stuff I'm gonna be cooking today to eat like Tom Brady. And having the exact recipe doesn't hurt either. For building our smoothie, we're gonna start in with just a few of these nice organic blueberries. Doesn't take much research to figure out that Tom doesn't really mess around with much of that conventional stuff. Then I'll go in with a few scoops of this protein powder. Apparently his smoothie has 36 grams of protein in it. Then next up we have our pumpkin seeds, but for me, I'm gonna use some mixed nuts today to make it even more nutritious. Perhaps the weirdest part of the whole smoothie is 1 banana. However, Tom does not use the ends.
I don't eat the ends, don't tell me.
So I guess I'm just gonna eat these. Ooh. And in goes the middle part of our banana. Next up, and I go with a sprinkle of electrolytes, then a few chia seeds, some frozen banana, a nice generous squeeze of almond butter. Sometimes I know Tom uses almond milk, but more typically in his smoothies, he uses what's called hemp milk. I've literally never heard of this stuff or seen it in my life. Tastes like breast milk.
Nick, can I try some?
Sure. There.
It does taste like breast milk.
Right?
Yeah.
You're weird. Like, why do you know that?
And just like that, we blend. To finish off our smoothie, I'll pour it into a nice little glass here. How did that banana not blend? How did it sneak in there like that? He escaped death. And this right here is Tom Brady's breakfast. For me, this is far too rich. And I don't know what it is. It may be the combination of the protein and the hemp milk, but there's a flavor in there that doesn't totally work for me. With that said, I love the combination of banana and blueberry, so I'm gonna give this one, to start out our day of eating like Tom Brady, a flat 5 out of 10. Okay, it is 12 o'clock, time for lunch.
Tuna wrap.
Okay.
Some salad.
We'll start out with the tuna wrap. Now, I love tuna melts, but that has cheese and bread, and the mayonnaise isn't made from avocados. Here we have grain-free wraps, avocado mayonnaise, and then some classic tuna and celery for a bit of texture. Tom pretty much seems to like any vegetable that's green. As I make this, I have to note the fact that there are 2 ironic things going on here. The first is that Tom did a Subway ad a while back all about bread, which he famously doesn't even eat.
You even eat bread?
Steph, it's a commercial.
The second is the fact that Subway was in a lot of trouble given that their tuna was found to have no detectable tuna DNA sequences whatsoever. I'll add my celery, then give my healthy tuna salad a nice stir. Then to assemble my wrap, I'll simply drop in some of that tuna and then roll it all up. But before I dive into this Tom Brady tuna wrap, let's make his favorite side salad to go with it. To start off the kale salad, I'll place down some paper towels, and the first step is making our crunchy chickpeas. I'll spread these chickpeas evenly across the paper towel because the only way to get them crunchy is gonna be to dry them off first, very well. Once our chickpeas are dry, I'll go over them with a bit of organic olive oil, one of the only oils Tom's chef uses in his cooking. And I'll go over them with a blend of spices. We'll give these chickpeas a nice little shake, then into the oven they go at 400 Fahrenheit. Now for our dressing, into a blender with a half cup of raw cashews, 1/3 cup water, 2 tablespoons of organic extra virgin olive oil, or EVU, 1 whole lemon, juiced and zested. I love the fact that Tom is using citrus zest in some of his food. To me, one of the most underutilized components in all of cooking. 1½ teaspoons of grainy Dijon mustard. Wait, this isn't grainy. Manny, I told you to get grainy.
I like it smooth better.
Get out, you're fired. 1 to 2 garlic cloves. I'm gonna use just 1 because these are pretty large. 1½ teaspoons capers. 1/2 teaspoon pink Himalayan salt. If you haven't seen the new Osmo pink grinders, go get one. And last but not least, 1/2 teaspoon of maple syrup. On goes our lid and we blend. I'm gonna leave the dressing slightly chunky, just for a little texture. Whoa, that is really good. I can't wait for the rest of the salad. Now that our chickpeas are complete, listen. And if you still don't believe me, we're ready to assemble our salad. First, I'll go in with some baby kale. Next, in we go with some baby romaine lettuce. And then I'd say it's kind of an interesting choice by Brady, but in with a few raw Brussels sprouts. Then he also adds in a few radishes, which I will say were my favorite food as a kid. A pretty weird food for a kid to like. And all over the top of this goes our crispy, crunchy chickpeas, all finished, of course, with our delicious, creamy cashew dressing. But keep in mind, when I say the word creamy, there's no dairy. All we have left is tossing the salad.
I know how to toss a good salad.
What we have for lunch, eating just like Tom Brady would, is this seemingly simple tuna wrap, and of course, this salad, which I will say I'm really excited to taste. Because this has been sitting out for quite some time, I'm gonna try this first. Not good. This right here is the main difference. Whether you like Hellmann's or Duke's or Japanese mayonnaise, I don't care. They're all better than avocado mayonnaise. It doesn't have that same creaminess. It's missing something. The wrap is only gonna get a 4.2 out of 10. I'm sorry, Tom. And I'm sorry, tuna. You both deserve better. However, for this salad, that is a salad I would eat all day, every day, 365 days a year. Tom's breakfast smoothie game is somewhere around here. His sandwich game, maybe somewhere in the middle. But his salad game is off the charts. I'm giving the salad a 9.8 out of 10. 5:30, time for dinner.
Fish, vegetables.
He left this one quite open-ended. Based on what he said, dinner could be the exact same as lunch. But I did some research to find his favorite fish dinner, which happened to be a cod and salsa verde. To start with the salsa verde, go into a food processor or blender with 2 tablespoons of capers, 4 anchovy fillets. I'm gonna do 3 because I'm not the biggest anchovy fan. 2 cloves of peeled garlic, that was 3. 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a splash of sherry vinegar, nice big squeeze of lemon juice, and a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Now we'll pulse this up until smooth. Now in we go with a bunch of mint leaves, and also a nice handful of parsley. And we want this almost to look like a chimichurri, so I'll pulse this up once again until it's reached the consistency that I like. Once complete, I'll set this aside, and because Tom asked for vegetables on the side, I'll make a simple side salad using these cucumbers and orange. Into a bowl, I'll shave some of my cucumber into these nice, beautiful ribbons. This is a really easy way to make a really pretty salad. Once we've turned our cucumber into ribbons, we'll add in some orange zest, then squeeze over some orange juice to give us our nice dressing. I'll add in a few bits of fresh tarragon, as well as some nice fresh dill, and finish it off with some pink Himalayan salt. Like I said, Brady seems to love everything green, and so that's how I'm gonna eat. I'll add in just a little bit of baby spinach, then toss this all up to marinate and set it aside, leaving us only with this cod to finish things off. We'll simply cut a nice portion, only the nicest for Tom Brady. Then I'll coat the entire piece of fish in organic avocado oil, making sure the entire thing is well covered, and I'll finish it with some fresh cracked pepper, as well as some nice pink Himalayan salt, which Tom seems to absolutely love. To cook our cod, into a pan with our avocado oil, and once it begins to shimmer, in we go with our fish. If you're trying to get a golden brown crust on a fish, just leave it and let it do its thing. If you touch it and try to move it, that's when it gets messed up. Once our fish is nice golden brown, we flip. It's not the best sear I've ever seen, but frankly, it's not easy to get a perfect sear on a piece of fish like this without a touch of flour on the bottom. To plate our fish, down goes our cod. Then right next to it, I'll pile up my salad and finish it off with a nice last touch of orange zest. Then over my salad with our salsa verde, and we'll finish it off with a nice final touch of orange zest. As good as it might look, we're not gonna know how good it is until we taste it. I've got everything on one bite here, down the hatch it goes. That was good. I'll say 2 things. First, the dressing is basically the same as what we had for lunch, just instead of cashews, it has some herbs in it, which I really like. And second, that this whole dish here is extremely flavorful. My only question, and I don't know the answer to this, is whether Tom eats these things in massive quantities. Because given we're talking about full meals here, these seem very light, and frankly, not very filling. I'm gonna go with a nice 7.7 out of 10. It's lacking 1 or 2 things I would have liked. For instance, that nice flour coating on the cod to give it a really nice crispy golden brown crust, which we're only 50% of the way there on. Otherwise, happy with this dish. And now, my favorite meal of the day. For dessert, we're having Tom's favorite.
Avocado ice cream.
Question is, will it be my favorite? The great thing about making this one is that I literally just made avocado ice cream with Tom.
28.3.
Tom and I played around with the numbers a bit, but we'll stick with the real recipe today. We'll start in a blender with 1/2 cup raw cashews, an ingredient we've seen throughout the day that Tom seems to love. Then 1/2 cup of raw coconut meat. Only problem being the fact that we actually have to open this. That was pretty good. And this, I simply dig out with a spoon, in with our coconut meat. Then next up, 1.5 cups of pitted dates. I feel like these will make it really sweet. 2/3 cup of raw cocoa powder. It's a lot of cocoa powder. 1 scoop of plant-based protein. There's a lot of protein in what Tom eats. And to finish, 1 1/4 cups of water. I forgot the main part of the recipe, avocado. It is literally called avocado ice cream, and I was about to make it with no avocado. We're going in with 1 entire avocado. I'm picking one that I'd say is about medium sized. It only makes sense that our final recipe of the day also has a blender. There was a blender in everything today. We're left with a paste that looks somewhat like chocolate cake batter. It smells exactly like bitter chocolate brownie batter. To spare you the waiting, I've already made a batch ahead of time. It's pretty insane to think that this can come from this. It's time to taste. One thing I'll say is that it's already melting a lot. I'm almost a little nervous to try it. Here we go. The best way I can describe it is that it tastes healthy, but it doesn't have any of the weird aftertaste that I had in the smoothie from earlier. For most people, if this had sugar, it would be perfect. You would have no idea that there's avocado in here. For a rating, the first number that jumps to mind is 6.8 out of 10. I don't know why, but that's the final rating, and for some reason, I feel like going and throwing a football.
You guys want to play some football?
In Texas? No, you gotta be kidding.
Ooh, chocolate ice cream. Oh, what the f is this shit? Nick!